Hey everybody, Susan here. Went shopping and looked up on some deals. This is one of them lawnmowers, you know, woman powered, man powered, kid powered, goat powered, however which way you want to pull it, push it, whatever. Got that for a couldn't have passed it up deal. It's a regular $85, and I paid a whole $10. Score one for me. No gas required. So, if I need it, I got it. I'll probably start out with it. But when it gets real super hot, of course, I'll have to go to the mower because, yeah, I'm not exactly as young as I used to be. But hey, that's okay. I get by, I do what I can. Now I'm fixing to tell you about my other shopping score. Hey everybody, back. Had to get my list. My other shopping score was when I went grocery shopping. I went down to the little market down there and wanted to pick up a little hamburger. And around here, it's $4.95 a pound for the greasy, fat, cheap junk. But hey, you know, ground beef. But I hadn't had any in a while. Yeah, because it's so expensive. I don't buy it. So, went back to the meat counter, and it was marked $2.99 a pound. And I looked at the package, and it was a 1 pound package. And I looked at that package, and I'm like, this can't be right. It can't be right. So the man was grinding up the hamburger right there. And I waited for him, and he asked me if he could help me. And I said, yeah. I said, is this hamburger $2.99 a pound? He said, yes, ma'am, it is. It's the everyday price. I said, what? Everyday price? He said, yes, ma'am. I said, well, how do you do that? He says, I don't mark it up. I'm not like the big stores trying to get rich. He says, as a matter of fact, I'm going out of business. I'm slowly going out of business. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, for $2.99 a pound, I couldn't pass it up. So I counted the packages. He had 8 packages plus a couple of 2 pound packages. And then I noticed next to it he had a few little packages of marked down meats. So I thought that was a really good price on the marked down meats because it was ribeye steak, and some of them were like $1. Let's see, the cheapest one was $1.14. Now ribeye steak is $7.99 a pound. I can't afford that. I don't buy steak because I can't afford steak. Last time I had a steak was last year when my mom and brother had bought some steak when we all grilled out, and when we do that, we pitch in. Everybody pitches in, and then they'll buy this. Sometimes they'll buy steaks, and then they cut them in half, so you get a little piece of steak. So that was the last time I had steak. So I'm like, I can't pass this up. So I grabbed me those packages in there. There was just a couple of packages in there, but hey, you know, it's a steak. Even if it was marked down, it wasn't green and slimy, and it didn't look like it stunk. So yeah. And he says, I've got more of that if you're interested. And I said, what? He says, around the corner I've got the markdown, because that wasn't the actual markdown bin. So he showed me around. He took me around over there, and he had a whole bunch of meat over there. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So I started digging through it, and at my ribeyes. And 2 big old roasts. I mean, pretty good size, 2¼ pounds a piece. So I started grabbing this stuff, you know, because it looked good. And I was taking just everything in the case, and the man says, is that enough for you? And I said, well, I did leave a little package of bacon because I didn't want to look too greedy. I felt bad, you know, I felt greedy because it was such a good deal, and I didn't want to pass it up, and it's not often that we get to eat beef, especially a steak. So He says, no ma'am, I'm serious. I've got a freezer full of it. I'll make you a great deal. Well, I'm on a budget. I only spend so much. So I could only get what I had gotten. But I added it all up, broke it down, added it up. And for the 15 ribeyes that I got at the $7.99 price, it would have been $161.80. Now what I ended up paying was $44.40. That was $117.40 in savings. The ground beef, 15 pounds, at $4.95 a pound, would have been $74.25. Well, I paid $44.85, so that was a savings of $29.40. Okay, the roasts were, I know this isn't the right price because I couldn't find the original price on it, but the cheap roasts go for $5.79. Now, these roasts were not cheap roasts, they were the better cuts, but I don't know what they go for, so I'm guesstimating here at $5.79. So those would have added up to $26.11. What I paid was $4.62. So it added up to a total of $255.41. And I paid $98 for all of it. $98. That was a savings of $164.16. Well, I don't know where that come from, but oh well. $164 worth of savings because I bought marked down meat. It wasn't all green and slimy. Like I said, I'm not going to buy no bad meat. But I was just so proud of myself because we got to have steak, and then we got to have roast, and we got to have ground beef that we hadn't had in 2 months because I can't afford it. I've been buying the ground turkey, and it just doesn't quite cut it when you're wanting beef. But ground turkey's good. I like it. But I just couldn't pass up a good savings. And I think people need to be less picky when they're on a budget. I see people that have a very small budget and they want to go and they'll spend what they have and live high on the hog for a week, 2 weeks, and then they ain't got nothing to buy with, you know. So they're like, I'm hungry, and then they come bumming at your house or whatever, you know. People do that. I know firsthand. I know. But yeah, I couldn't pass it up. It was too good to pass up. So think about that. Mark down meats. If you're out and browsing and accidentally come across a good deal like that mower, pass it up. You snooze, you lose, you know. Because that one, it's an $85 more. The one I had bought before, I paid like $179 for it. It was a nice one. Somebody stole it out of my yard. They helped themselves. The nerve, right? Well, I don't live in that area anymore, so I don't have that kind of traffic going around my house. And these people around here are a little too snooty to push more anyway. So, yeah, thought I'd share all that with you. Thanks for watching, guys.